where my background comes from, I'm a graduate from Williams University. I graduated with a degree TV studio production, a minor in multimedia. And then I also have been working with various independent television companies, production companies, and I've also done some work for like bigger companies like MTV, Smirnoff Vodka, and other like local news stations too around here. In a little bit, I'm going to show you some examples of how this camera works. I own this camera personally, like I said before. I've owned it for ever since 2007, and I have to say this camera has been one of the best assets I've ever had in all my equipment, because it's hung in there for a long time and she's still going strong. With that in my also background too, with being a camera operator of this type of camera, I'm also a Steadicam operator. What those are, if you don't know, are the operators who run around with the big vest and then the arm and the sludge, and they walk around in the TV shows and the movie to follow the actions like real smoothly and float. So, anyway, that's my background. Now, today we're going to be talking about basically the same camera, but there's two types of it. We have the Canon XH-A1 and the Canon XH-A1S. Similar to these cameras is the Canon G1 and the Canon G1S. Now, we don't have the G1 or G1S because they're basically the same thing, just that the G1s have a time code. They have different like capabilities, a little bit more like time code and HD synchronization that these ones don't have. You can still get the same picture quality, same motion, everything. You're just missing those little components right there. Basically, at first glance at the camera, a lot of people would be like, whoa, I have no idea what to do with this. So we are going to, before I go into what every single thing works with the camera, I'm going to show you what it's really capable of with some stuff that I've done. Show you some clips of some music videos, a little short film piece, and then also show you a commercial too. So I'm going to pull that up. All right. This music video right here is called You Remind Me. It's by a music artist named Joe Zangi. He's actually charting #2 in the Dance Music Billboards chart. I was the director of photography for this, so I was the lead cameraman for the shoot.
I'm here. Is there anything I can do for you?
No, I'm good for right now, but, you know, definitely stay close.
Okay.
You guys gonna just
Yo, man, she reminds me of somebody I used to know.
Take it easy, man. She's new here. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
Now I'm only going to show just a little bit of the video. If you want to see the rest, I can send you an email so you can actually watch it yourself. I don't want to take up the whole time with this. Here's another, it's a little short film, a little comedy piece that I did once. You've ever seen, it's a cartoon called Animaniacs. I had a piece called Good Idea, Bad Idea. I do a thing called Yickety, and Yickety is being positive, always move forward, and the opposite is Negety, and Negety is basically, being negative and holding yourself back. And we're going to see the difference of thinking positively, doing something the right way, and doing something the wrong way. If this will decide to load.
Today's episode will be Yickety and Negety. Yickety, streaming a movie using your Netflix.
Heard good reviews about this one.
Negety, trying to live stream a movie at the movie theater.
Hey, what are you doing, boss?
And then lastly, not a commercial, but if any of you guys seen the movie Crank or Crank 2, both of those were let's say pretty major blockbuster movies that have high budgets, probably a couple mil, but they actually shot those movies with these cameras. So if you ever seen that movie and you're like, wow, this movie looks really, really good, that's the movie right there.
My name is Jeff Chelios, and today is the day that I die. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I've been poisoned with some kind of Chinese synthetic. You gotta do something for me, Doc.
They gave you the Beijing cocktail. It's cutting off your adrenaline. If you stop, you die.
Now, I've got 1 hour to settle the score. Say goodbye to my girl, and go out with a little style. All I have to do is stay alive long enough to make it happen. Juice me.
Clear?
Where's Baron? I don't know. We're in.
You're so stressed out. What's the matter?
I need to tell you something. I'm a professional hitman.
If you're gonna break up with me, at least you can tell me the truth.
Wait! Now, come on.
You're supposed to be dead. Your whole crew is destroyed.
The unidentified man behind today's mayhem is making his last stand.
My name is Jeff Chelios, and today's the day.
All right. So, who is interested in shooting, say, commercials? Raise your hands. Music videos? Short films? Feature films? All right, cool. So we got something. All right, cool. All right. So, like, the reason I really like showing the Crank trailer is YouTube does a horrible job of keeping this quality up. But if you really watch the movie yourself, you're kind of like, wow, this really done really well. Because basically, what it comes down to any kind of camera you shoot with, it's not about the camera itself for the most part. It's really about the shooter too. The camera does play a great key, as in the lens. Canon does a great job with its lenses. You can ask anybody around here, from the people behind us to any other instructor, that the lens is one of the key points of a camera. If your lens on the camera is, then the picture quality is going to be. The other thing that goes with the lens and the picture quality is your lighting. But that's a whole nother workshop. Okay, so always remember, you can buy the great camera, and you'll be like, all right, cool, I'm going to get this great picture. But if your lighting isn't up to par, isn't good, then you're going to feel like you wasted your money on this, fine piece of equipment right here. All right. So, Canon XH-A1 and the Canon XH-A1S. Why is there a difference? Basically, between the two of the cameras, what happened was, this is the first one that came out, the Canon XH-A1. I'm going to pass this one around. So I'll start off with you, sir. Just pass it back. When it gets to you, I'll come right up and grab it. What happened is that, like anything from a computer, video game system, DVD player, TV, camera, when they first come out with the product, there's always going to be defects or things that they think that they could have done better. That's why they reissued this camera out with the Canon XH-A1S. Okay, with that, it has different components in the back. If you look at the back, there's a little panel you can open up and you can see different connection pieces. As in a larger FireWire port, they also have component cables where you can export out to HD TVs and such. All right. A little bit difference on the looks of the rings that are coming around, a little bit difference on the button shape, but overall and all, they are exactly the same camera. So I'll pass that one around and we'll grab this one. Okay, thanks. All right. All right, starting from the lens, working our way back. All right, the way this, we'll start from here. You have our focus ring. All right. With any prosumer professional camera, they have multiple rings on it. This one, we're very fortunate to have 3 rings. Most of them usually just have 2. We have our focus ring, we have our zoom ring, and then we have what is called our f-stops. You'll learn this in your intro to video classes. The f-stops basically help with the brightness and how much light you get into the camera. So think like this. Your eyes are open, that's your f-stop. When you slowly start closing your eyes, then you get to like your eyes closed. That's how the f-stops work. The eyes are open and then they shut. That's basically how that one works. Then we come over here to the ND filters. What ND filters are is there's different, especially when you go outside. When you're indoors, color temperature of 32,000 Kelvin. And then when you go outside, it's 56,000 K. And then there's 56,000 K ND, neutral density. So right here when you first start off, it's 32K, which is great for shooting indoors. Usually the lighting that you would use would be 32K lighting. And then when you go up some more, these ones are more for the 56K and 56K ND, which is outdoor sunlight. When you compare one of our lamps inside to the sunlight is, of course, way more powerful. When you shoot at nighttime, you will shoot in 32K, though, because of the fact there isn't any sunlight, so you don't got to worry about the sun's color temperature messing with it. We'll get into, that'll be another time to get into night lighting. That's a whole nother workshop in itself. Night lighting is actually very, very fun because with that, you have the most control when it comes to lighting. When you shoot during the day, it's a great hand to have the sun there, but at times you'll have shadows. It's like a clear sunny day, then you're great. But at times if you have like a cloudy day, that's usually the kind of like rough one because you'll have real sunny and all of a sudden a cloud will come in and you're like in the middle of a shot and they set the line the best way and you're like, oh, I just missed it. And, you know. So going on from here, we have our autofocus and we have our manual focus, and we also have our push autofocus. So if you have your autofocus set up on the camera, you press the push autofocus, and what it does, the camera kind of like adjusts itself and focuses the shot for you. Okay. And let me know if I start talking too fast and you need me to slow down a little bit, I will slow down. All right. Coming over here is the shutter speed. Basically, the shutter speed is like the speed of how the camera retrieves the information. So the higher the shutter speed, the less light, basically kind of like light it's in, but it captures like really, really quick. So say, for instance, you have your ND filter all the way off to 32K and you're shooting outside and you take your shutter speed all the way up to the highest shutter speed you can get, and I believe it's 1/15,000. What you'll see when you're shooting cars especially is it'll look like the car is literally just floating across. You don't see any rim spinning, any motion. Is really, really just, fast motion is just solid. So it's actually a pretty interesting thing to do. So whenever you get a chance to get your hands on this camera, shoot some cars, take the shutter speed really up high, and just look at a picture, and you'd be like, oh, snap. All right. Next, we have these little switches right here, if you guys can see. These little switches are, we have the one on the right, on my right, is the auto gain control, which I tell everybody keep that off at all times because that will mess up your picture. What it does, no matter like how good your lighting is, it will automatically gain up the picture, so everything is supposed to be like an even lighting. Bless you. You want that just off. I don't know why they have it on there. It really shouldn't be on the camera at all. That's one of the things I think they should have took off. Auto white balance, very good thing to use, especially, say for instance, and if you get into news reporting and other things like that is very good for what we call run and gun. Run and gun is a term that we use when you're in the field and they're like, oh snap, something's happening. We need you to shoot that. You go click, bloop, blam, and just go. Run and gun. So there's no like setting up or anything. You just shoot what's going on. So like sometimes live events are kind of like that. You're shooting a concert, you got to shoot run and gun style because you really can't be like, oh wait, I want you guys to cheer again the same way like you did a second ago. No, people are just going to look at you funny and just enjoy their show. All right. We have our gain controls. Now these are very handy. In the camera itself, in the options, you can adjust the gain controls to how much gain, whether in your low, your mid, or high gain. The highest gain is basically it artificially increases the light that is coming into the camera itself. So when you do use gain, you'll get what the graininess, the fuzziness and stuff on the screen in your picture. So you have low. Low, usually I recommend either negative 3 dB or 0 dB, so that way it doesn't do anything to your picture. Medium, I always recommend like a +6, and then high, depending on your location, can be a +12, 18, 32. Here is your camera and bars. This is very handy, as in, say you are just a shooter, but you're not the editor. When doing your editing, you want to have bars in the beginning of your footage. One, it helps your tape get a little run, so it's like, okay, cool, it's recorded something, so it doesn't like miss the footage. Two, it also, when a person comes in and they put it into their tape deck and they import it and they go to footage, they can adjust their monitor to the bars. You'll get into that more in your classes too. So I'm going to like kind of breeze through some stuff, but if you have any other questions about that information that I do speak about, ask me after the presentation and I'll be sure to answer your questions. Over here here is a tag team right here, a white balance control. White balance is broken up into, you have 3 parts on it. One thing I found really nifty about the camera is they have a B, A, and a preset. Now the way that works is, say for instance you're shooting indoors and you set your B for your white balance preset. You hit white balance, you have your white balance set for indoors. Okay, you're shooting. Okay, we got to shoot a shot outside. You run outside, switch it to A, white balance for outside, shoot, do your thing, come back inside, just flick it back to B, and you have your white balance just the same way you had it before you went outside. Very handy, one of the best features that I love about this camera. And then preset is a feature where on the top of the camera, when you take the viewfinder out, they have white balance presets for basically sunlight, tungsten light, which is light bulbs, if you have like a light kit or anything, and that's where you will control it up here. So it's like default preset white balance. Okay, right here's the viewfinder, since we're already on this topic. You have your eyepiece and your viewfinder. When filming and you want to know what is the best look for your lighting with this camera, do not trust the viewfinder. The viewfinder is not the most accurate way to tell how your shot's going to look, especially lighting-wise. You always want to look through the eyepiece. The eyepiece will give you the most accurate view of how your shot is. So if you look on here, you're seeing your shot, and you're like, it's kind of dark, and I'm not sure. Then you say, okay, let me look through the eyepiece. You look through the eyepiece, and then you see that it's really dark on the face. Fix your lighting. Work on your lighting, fix your shot, and so forth like that. Any questions so far? All right. Over here is a part that I don't really use too much, but I'm going to explain it too. What it is that you can set up presets for your focus and your zoom, and all you have to do is you'll push it up to focus. Then you'll zoom into something, and you'll focus on it, and then you'll click, okay, set right here. You'll push this down, set. That's the focus you want to have. Then you can do the same thing for zoom. Set your zoom to a certain one, set, okay, do your zoom. Then you can go back, do whatever, shoot your shot, and next thing you know, okay, these people are going to move out the way, and I got to shoot Ryan back there at the table. All I do is just push it up to on, and the camera will go zoom right in and focus right onto the shot right for me. So I don't have to sit there trying to figure, oh, can I get this right? Okay. Over here are I forgot. This is the white balance button too. So These are the white balance preset options, and this is the actual white balance button. Over here are the custom keys. With the custom keys, you can set up different things, as in, for example, for anybody who knows how professional cameras work, they have an option called zebra lines. What zebra lines do is they show you where stuff is overexposed, as in, say I was shooting the light, I shoot the room, and the lights are really like zebra lines. That means that the light is too strong coming from them, that it's just going to be complete white. So there's going to be no detail. It shows you when you lose your detail. And then there's plenty of other options. There's so many to name from. I can't even remember all of them myself, and I've worked with this camera for years. Also, here's a custom preset. This is very good when you put in a memory card in here, and you can set up custom presets for options in the camera, certain looks. Basically certain looks and how you like feels you want to be. You can have a preset for black and white, a sepia feel, a very warm feel, you name it. Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you can also download presets that other people have used off of the internet
Mm-hmm.
and load them into. So something like when they use Crank 2, they released the presets so you could download them. So if you want to have that same type of look as well, that's where you're going to use something like that. So especially for, I believe, Daryl up at the front, you just bought the camera. Yeah. Something to get into it and really experiment with it to learn stuff if you're going to do a short film, anything like that. Go look at forums and anything, and if someone has those presets, download it, try it out for yourself, make it your own.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
This is a very good point right there. I've downloaded a whole bunch of presets myself. They are currently on my camera at home, so if you want to, say for instance you want to get some, I'll give you my email and I can send you the link, or I can even send you the presets myself. Okay, cool. That works. Then I'll just give them to Jeff and he'll put them on the website. Okay. Okay. So now we're on to audio controls. With this camera, they have the mic, you have the onboard mic, but then you can also connect external microphones to the side, XLR. For those who've taken audio classes, or if you haven't, do a quick run through on audio. There are different connection pieces. There's quarter jack, there's RCA, and there's XLR. The two that really give the best type of sound are quarter jack and XLR. They use XLR for this camera, the three-prong system, very good audio, comes through, depending on your system you're using, whether it's a lavalier mic, a boom pole, or so forth. Comes in real crystal clear. You have real good audio controls from the different levels. You can separate your channels, which I like. There's an option right here where you can separate the channels. So one channel could be recording, say for instance, me talking, and another channel could record another person talking, or background noise, or so forth. And then you'll go into your editing room, you go into the editing, and then you'll split your audio channel, and you'll have one channel that's just strictly for my talk, and another channel for other talk, and you just level everything out, and it'll come out like nice. All right. So XLR also has phantom power. For those who do or don't know about with phantom power, what that does is if you have a microphone, say for instance a boom microphone, and your battery is dead, the camera itself can send a charge to the boom microphone, so you can still keep on shooting and not have to worry about, oh, I got to find a battery and I'm in the middle of Houston, Texas, shooting this Western. All right, we'll grab this one. All right. So, on the back of these cameras, on this camera, we have a small FireWire jack in, so HD, HDV, headphone jack, AV, and then V2 is for the component back here. So this will basically allow you to watch your footage on like a HD TV using component cables. Now this one has basically the same options, but it has more component. It has two components, one for your HD SD component out and the other one's for a viewfinder out. Then it has the large FireWire connection piece out and so forth. So the cameras are basically the exact same thing, just a few little differences, some little changes in the options. All right. Last but not least, on the top, well,